Story 22. I met a trader who possessed 150 camel loads of merchandise with 40 slaves and servants. One evening in the oasis of Kish, he took me into his apartment and, taking all night, no rest, set up an incoherent gabble saying, I have such and such a warehouse in Turkestan, such and such goods in Hindustan. This is the title deed of such and such an estate, and in this affair, such and such a man is security. He said, I intend to go to Alexandria because it has a good climate, and correcting himself continued, no, because the African Sea is boisterous. O Sadi, I have one journey more to undertake, and after performing it, I shall, during the rest of my life, sit in a corner and enjoy contentment. I asked, what journey is that? He replied, I shall carry Persian brimstone to China, because I heard that it fetched a high price. I shall also carry Chinese porcelain to Rome and Rumi brocade to India. And Indian steel to Aleppo. Convey glassware of Aleppo to Yemen. Stripped cloth of Yemen to Paris. And after that, I shall abandon trading and shall sit down in a shop. He talked so much of this nonsense that no more strength remained in him. So he said, O Sa'adi, do thou also tell me something of what thou hast seen and heard. I recited, thou mayst have heard that in the plain of Ghor, once a leader fell down from his beast of burden, saying, the narrow eye of a wealthy man will be filled either by content or by the earth of the tomb. Well, we're all filled by the earth of the tomb. Even the people who spend all that extra money for some box that's going to break down, and possibly their body's going to break down quicker because the box is there. But and then there's going to be all these lumpy bits in the graveyard because of the coffins caving in under the dirt and all that. But it's not good to talk too much upon merely secular things. Now, certainly one's business can be given spiritual intentions. And let me remind that in the Islamic vision, there's not anywhere near the injustice done to slaves that you would attribute to employers nowadays. If the wages had kept up with like 1968, the minimum wage would be $24. And I mean the amount of money that the companies are getting, the minimum wage would be $24. Take it back further, you know, and make the comparison, it'd be 30 or so, right? And by the Islamic society, I mean, the Islam doesn't have the injustice, but some people are going to have the injustice. But what happens? A slave is wrongly struck or you know, smacked in the face and that sort of stuff. You can lose a slave over that, right? And there's other things that one can look at, you know, like you can't force a slave to get married. You can actually stop a slave from getting married, but you can't force a slave to get married. You can't force them into prostitution. That will count against you, not them. And they'll get forgiven for whatever hardship they're put through. And perhaps achieve merit on top of that.